town meeting. And we're gonna start with roll call for the record.
Rebecca Schneider.
Linda Little.
Pete Angie, Chair.
Carl Klankowski.
Mark Line.
And I would like to make a couple adjustments to the agenda tonight. I would like to add, first off, voting in Carl to be a voting member tonight. He's an alternate. And then I would also like to move the Philly 2-lot land subdivision from our third item to our first item. They were very patient last time. And then lastly, I would also like to move the new business, the Gales 2-lot land subdivision, up to just before the Taganigan Falls resolution. So
Okay.
those changes, I would accept a motion to amend the agenda with those changes.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. All right. So approval of past minutes is the next item on the agenda. The minutes are from September 19th of 2023. I would accept a motion to approve the minutes of that meeting as written.
Yep, they're good.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I would direct, actually, can we redo, Carl? Just, I think you should abstain. Having not been
Right,
here.
because I was part of that meeting, all right.
Yeah, so could we, what's that? No, that's true. All right, so let's redo the vote on approving the minutes for 9/19.
You know,
Accept a motion.
Rebecca.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
One abstention. Excellent. And then I would accept a motion to appoint Carl as a voting member at tonight's meeting from an alternate.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. Okay. So that brings us to the Philly 2-lot land subdivision. This is a final plat review, public hearing. We'll also be looking at the seeker with this, and the applicant is present tonight. This is a public hearing, so it's a chance for any members of the public to actually, before we do that, I want to give the opportunity for privilege of the floor, pardon me. Are there any members of the public here tonight that would like to take advantage of privilege of the floor, 3 minutes to speak on any item that is not listed as having a public hearing tonight? Anybody up on Zoom? Okay, all right. So we'll close privilege of the floor. Now, on to Philly. Would you like to tell folks here what your project is?
I'm selling Houghton's Poultry Farm. And the buyer doesn't want the house, which is across the street. So I'm just taking it off the tax parcel. It'll make its own tax parcel.
Okay.
And then I can have a closing on the farm.
And can you, so just for clarity here, I have parcel 1 that you're planning to sell, the chicken farm, is 45.62 acres.
Correct,
And parcel 2, where the home is located.
3.4.
Yes, all right, excellent. And it's in the agricultural zone. It meets minimum lot requirements, minimum lot area of 2 acres, 200 feet lot depth, 400 feet lot width. Do you have any further comments for folks here about your project? Okay. Do any board members have any questions or comments for the applicant?
I just have the one, which is, where are you, dear? Where are you sitting? There you are. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay.
You know that there is a stream on your property. We mentioned it in the past.
Yeah, and then
Right, and you didn't put a buffer on it, and we said, you know, it'd be a good idea to put the buffer on so you know what you're working with. Just so you know, it does take up an awful lot of your property, so you're not left with a lot of flexible room. You know, when you think about selling, all right? If you had kept some of the property across the street, like you said, oh, I'm gonna put in a whole garage, or, you know, if you want to, you could do it across the street, but you know, a little trouble putting it in the remaining parcel. Okay, just so you're aware.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, yeah. Kind of hems you in a little bit there, but. Okay. So our next, this requires, a review of the seeker and which has been provided by the applicant. Any comments on the seeker?
Fine to me.
Okay.
Yeah, agreed.
Um, And do you have any questions on the application? Okay.
Very city in here.
And this is a public hearing. Are there any questions or any comments? Now is the time for members of the public who'd like to make comment on this proposal to raise your hand. Okay. So I would accept a motion to close the public comment period for this project.
Wayne, I'll make the motion, Rebecca.
Second,
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
aye,
All right, with no comments or no questions on the seeker, I would accept a motion to approve the resolution, which is finding a negative declaration for the seeker. That is planning board resolution number 2023-020. There are 15 points, which I won't read, but I understand that you've read them. Culminating that the town planning board makes a negative determination of environmental significance in accordance with Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law and 6 NYC-RR Part 617, New York State Environmental Quality Review for the above referenced action as proposed based on the information in the short environmental assessment form, and therefore an environmental impact statement will not be required.
Make the motion, Rebecca.
second,
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
aye,
All right, excellent. So that brings us on to a resolution on the property. And I would just like to point out, hold on here, let me get to the right resolution. All right, so resolution of a secret determination.
Nope, we're on the
Sorry,
subdivision.
none of the subdivision.
Yep.
So many resolutions tonight.
We do.
It takes a moment. All right. Goodness, where is that? All right, here we go. No, that's also the secret. All right, so here we go. A resolution of final subdivision approval for the Philly 2-lot land subdivision. And that's planning board resolution number 2023-021. And it is the parcel is located at 1312 Perry City Road. Tax parcel 27.4-15.2. And it is permitting for the project as described, subdivision of those 2 lots. And the conditions of approval for the minor subdivision. The applicant shall submit a final plat map in conformance with the final minor subdivision map checklist within 180 days from the date of this decision for approval signatures, or this approval shall expire. 2, all lot corners shall be marked on the ground with a pin, pipe, or monument by a licensed land surveyor. With those 2 conditions, the resolution reads, the planning board hereby grants final subdivision approval for the proposed minor subdivision as described above and is shown on the map noted above. I would accept a motion to approve the resolution of the subdivision.
I'll make a motion to approve. Resolution,
Second, Mo,
Mhm.
any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much. So we will, I'll sign a copy of that map.
When do I pick up the paperwork?
That's a great question. I'm gonna defer to Niels on that one.
I'll give you a call tomorrow. If that works.
Okay. All right, excellent. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So our next item of business is the Jacksonville Park Special Permit and Site Plan Review and Public Hearing. And I will abstain from this application because I'm a member of the Jacksonville Community Association. I am the applicant, along with Nancy Ziller and the rest of the JCA board. So I will turn my duties as chair over to Vice Chair Linda Little.
Okay,
I'm gonna just sit here, but Nancy, if you need me, just point to me or give me a look.
Or go over.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so we still have an open hearing on the Jacksonville project. So the first step, did you, Pete or Nancy, want to go over the plans again? For the organization?
I would recommend, Nancy, that you go over it if you're able to, and just
Sure,
know we
briefly,
have
because-
a new board member here who's not,
Sure.
you know, has read the materials, but has not heard
Sure.
from either of us yet.
And I'll just be here so that others who may not have heard last time. The Jacksonville Community Park is about 10 acres owned by the Jacksonville Community Association, a nonprofit. And we have a relationship with the town of Ulysses to assure that the private park, which we ensure, is available to the public for public use. And over the last number of years, the Jacksonville Community Association Board, with input from the community, has been talking about ways to improve the accessibility, amenities, and use of the park. This particular site plan request, there are actually 2 action items, and they are both, well, the first is related to the site plan, which would create a small 25 feet wide, 22 foot deep, small parking area up the driveway that leads from Swamp College Road, near the picnic pavilion where activities are held. And the surface of that would be graded and finished in a way like the Black Diamond Trail to allow for easier mobility and access. It's an accessibility project. Then the other component of the plan is to create a 4-foot wide path, similar surface, permeable surface, to lead from that parking area alongside the pavilion, culminating or ending at the ADA compliant, the accessible pavilion compliant restroom that we have built there over the last number of years. And we have taken our plan to the Board of Zoning Appeals, which has approved the plan. And you have seen the updated plan that was approved by the Board of Zoning Appeals. The second component of what our organization is requesting is to a special use. The land was zoned in 2014 as a, no, 2019 as a park. And the current zoning lists the allowable by right use, just agriculture. One of the other allowed use by special permission is to operate a community park. And so since we are a park, which is why we were zoned a park, we need to officially ask for permission to function as a community park in the park zone land, which is entirely comprised of the parcel that we own. So those are the 2 facets. The first is really a focus on accessibility, small parking area, path that leads to the restroom. And I think I announced last time, we did in fact receive a small grant from the Ithaca Rotary to buy a wheelchair accessible picnic table to put under that pavilion. So as you go from your vehicle along the path, whether you're in a wheelchair or with a stroller or just ambulating with some difficulty, you could actually be at an accessible picnic table on your way to or from the ADA compliant bathroom. So that's the gist of it. Are there new or different questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Nancy. First off, does anyone on the board have questions, new questions? No, okay. Then is there anyone from the public that has any questions or comments on this project? And we'll take people from online. If there's anyone, just raise your hand. We'll keep our eye out for you. Okay, I don't, since this has been an open hearing for a while, I think we've had given enough time to it. So a motion, can we have a motion to close the hearing?
Yeah, I'll make a motion,
Thank,
close the hearing, public hearing.
thank you,
Seconded.
thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so the hearing is closed and our first. So is there any more discussion among the board members about the project? Anything you want to bring up now? Okay. Then the first resolution is for the will be for the seeker for the project. It. So this is the planning board resolution number 2023-016. And it's pretty lengthy seeker. Does anyone have any comments of?
I have one.
Yeah, go
All
for
right,
it.
so, we've gone through this several times, and one of the issues, the core issue was how tightly spaced everything, so with the stream going right through, the edge of the property. And that's why they had to go to ZBA, and ZBA approved some of what, everybody compromised and came up with good compromises. But then the Tompkins County came back and said they would not support this because the buffers were not wide enough. I think we have it down to 25 feet on one. So this number 9 in the seeker says the proposal will not have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area. And I think there's another one. So since Niels, this is really for you, in a way, we're going to say, Tompkins County says, yes, it will. We all recognize we're compromising the buffer width. So how do you word that to say, well, it's a compromise?
So for number 9, critical environmental area under state law has a specific term. So the only critical environmental area in Tompkins County is Coy Glen, which is down by the inlet.
Okay.
We don't have any critical environmental
Oh,
areas.
okay.
Okay, so we don't have to worry about that.
Okay,
Okay, and then it doesn't really say anything about, well, impact existing water supplies, but
right.
would be the closest thing to impacting the wetland or the stream. So are we all right with that?
I had a concern about it as well in looking at it. I mean, we are going to have an impact because the buffer, we have the buffers because we believe we need the buffers to protect the water. So we're violating that. Shouldn't we put a caveat around it? Why this is an acceptable reason for not paying attention to those buffers? Because say something like, because it's a handicapped parking area and at most there'll be 2 cars infrequently
Right.
used, so the impact will be less.
That's what I
than
would go with.
usual.
That's
Yeah,
it. We compromise on the number of spaces they had hoped for, therefore, and this is limited. It's limited, the amount of impact, potential impact. Would be the only thing it's came to that kind of compromise with a minimal impact, not 0, but minimum.
So under 14, we have proposal should not result in adverse change to natural resources. If you want to help wordsmith
Okay.
As the applicant, one of the saving graces of this project is that we will be closing the parking area that's right next to the pond. And shifting formal parking to an area that is already used. So we are shifting it away from one body of water. And yes, shifting the formal parking area towards the intermittent stream. However, that area is already used as parking. Like,
And we're also
in-
cutting down the
in
number.
essence, it
Yeah.
reduces the amount of parking there.
Right.
So that's I think where we come with thinking it doesn't have an impact because it's not amplifying the number of spaces. It's not changing the impact, the current impact. It's
Yeah.
actually lessening it in my view.
It is, but then we were people that were using the park were violating good, good environmental policy. Whether it was overtly, it wasn't advertised that, no, you can't park there because it's too close to the water or anything, but so they did it. People parked because they didn't know. So yeah, now you're correcting that. That's great. But in this, we have to say why it's okay to violate.
I support that because,
Okay.
I mean, Tompkins County now requires that supermajority vote. Because we're going against what they requested that we do. And so we're gonna have to, I think this is the place within the resolution where we say, and the reason we think it will minimize should not result in an adverse change. Should minimize it, so semicolon and minimize potential for any impacts because of the decrease in parking next to the pond. And the allowance of only 2 or is it 2 or 3 parking
how many
spaces?
There'll be 3 spaces.
3 spaces
Is it three?
for
It's
accessible
three.
parking
Okay.
adjacent to the,
It's-
within the,
Well, one is, okay,
It's 3 unless you have a van that needs.
right, that's what I was gonna say,
That needs-
because
that needs
it's a
egress.
handicap, actually, the one next to it is not a parking space because it's for.
Yeah.
It's for a van in case they have a lift,
Yes.
and if you put a car there, the van can't
2
use the
to 3.
lift, so.
2 to 3.
So it's really
there
2,
is
it
a-
should really be only 2 there.
right, and then,
Trying to
and
make
the
it
third
sound
thing
good.
that was done to minimize impacts was the nature of the pathway substrate. What is it, porous pavement? Is that what you
No,
went
it's
with?
it's a gravel.
It is a gravel, but you
It
can drive
will be a
it,
gravel.
but
Yeah, so
it'll function like
think
a
of-
porous pavement.
Right, think of like
Yeah.
Black Diamond Trail, like
Yeah, it's
that.
a crushed gravel.
Stone
It's like
dust.
stone dust.
Yeah.
Okay. So
With a crusher run underneath it.
is it considered permeable or not?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we have reduced the impacts and to minimize them. Potential for polluting the stream water there and the groundwater even, or changing the runoff because the more porous nature of the pathway. Is that possible, Niels?
See, yeah, where I was thinking too of that we're making a compromise because of, this is a public area and to ensure that. The total public population has access to it.
Mhm.
That's why we're doing it there because of handicap folks.
That's good.
Yeah, too.
No, we believe these. I'd say it would be something like, we believe that these compromises on the request, the normal buffer protection area were acceptable because of the need to allow accessible access,
To the whole public.
right?
Yeah.
to broader public. Okay, is
Not
that good?
making it difficult.
Yeah, and I'll
Wordsmith,
wordsmith them and send it out to you for final review.
okay.
Yeah,
All right, so that's how we're gonna handle the fact that we did get something from Tompkins County, because do we need to reply to them?
We do.
Okay, so then we're gonna be sending them 2 documents, this and the other one, both of which have this elongated caveat of what, an explanation of what our logic is.
Okay.
All right,
I have a question. Didn't the BZA already approved the variance?
yes, they did.
So they had to do a document that explained why they're.
but they also compromised, they actually kind of
Right.
required a compromise.
Right.
Right,
but
Yeah,
in
so
their
we're trying to
document-
capture that.
But in their
Yeah.
documents that are in the public record, they put the. Maybe.
I looked for the resolution, I haven't seen their document yet, but I was at the meeting, the BZA,
Niels, you have-
so.
Yeah, I sent that out, but if not, I'll-
Maybe not. Well, I missed it. Sorry.
BZA had to give a rationale why they gave the variance.
it's
Yes.
slightly, it's different, it's nuanced, but yes, they could.
But it was in the same, it's in that area, yeah.
All right, so Niels, you got the three different points we're trying to make, and then you're gonna wordsmith and send it back to us. Thank you very much. Sometimes I'm more coherent and I could do this verbatim, but tonight it's not working.
Well, that's because, yeah. It doesn't necessarily line up with the concept. Yeah, okay. So shall we table this then? I
As-
think we have.
As the
to-
applicant, we would respectfully ask that we've received a grant from Tompkins County to
Yeah.
do this project before the end of the year. And
Okay.
we are gonna be real tight. If
Okay,
Could we?
so because all we're doing is explaining better
Yep.
the decision we're making. Can we go ahead and approve the decision and then
With the revision.
with
Yeah,
the
the
revision
resolution with the.
to
revision.
follow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To follow, because
That would be great.
Yeah.
because
Do it
we-
right now.
Yeah.
The clock is ticking.
it is
and we are-
ticking,
We started in July and we
Yeah.
want to fully go through any
Yeah.
review that's required, but we are eager to
yeah,
make this very small
Mhm.
practical
Yeah.
project a reality.
yeah.
Before the ground freezes.
But I mean,
Mhm.
finding a contractor is no easy task, and we, we've been looking at a few, but when you say, well, we're waiting. They don't necessarily want to like go out to the site and look at it and all that.
Right,
And we
Okay.
don't have the ability with the county to say, well, can we just carry these funds over to next summer?
Right.
Season, so.
Yeah.
no, that's good, thanks for bringing it
A
up,
park
I
and trails
appreciate it.
grant, and I think the county would like to see it. Through.
Okay, so we need a motion to accept a negative determination
Right.
with revisions.
with the
to
revision
follow.
on resolution 2023-016.
Good, yes.
Okay,
I'll make that motion.
oh, I just
Oh,
made
you
it.
did. Sorry, I'm sorry, I thought you were.
You're
I'm
second,
second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the seeker is passed. So now we go to the permit. So now we have planning board resolution number 2023-17. The resolution for site plan and special permit for the Jacksonville Community Park located at 6621 Route 227, County Ulysses. Tax parcel 22.-2-4.
It's not it's not on Route 227, it's on
No.
Swamp College Road.
Yeah.
3037.
Oh, yeah,
Swamp
you're
College
right.
Road.
I'm sorry, I was just reading that.
Is that,
We'll make that,
Yeah,
suburban or correction.
Oh, I see it in the
it wasn't in the last.
23-016 that it does have the correct address.
Yeah, that's. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's got two different addresses.
Yeah,
Okay,
Mm. Let's see.
so it's just, yeah. All right, and so that needs to be changed. So we have a bunch of. Everybody, all of the board read the resolution, so we can go to the final. When I get down there. One second. So now therefore, the planning board resolves the following, that the planning board hereby grants special permit and site plan approval for the proposed development as described above and as shown on the site plan noted above, subject to the following conditions. The condition is that the proposal shall utilize lower level LED lighting and all outdoor LED lighting shall not be higher than 2700 CCT. A motion to accept the resolution. Thank
Make
you,
a
Mo.
motion to accept resolution 2023-017.
Thank you.
Reb second.
Thank you, Rebecca. Any discussion? For the board? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved?
Aye.
Aye. So the motion is approved.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Nancy.
you, good luck.
Good job with that,
Good luck
guys.
with it, yeah.
I think it's
Get
gonna
on
look
with
great.
the, project, and if you ever wanna
Oh, yeah.
know how it comes out, we'll be happy to,
Yeah,
Do a
to show
tour.
you.
yeah. Oh, and Linda, you'll need to sign this
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be over for the barbecue.
one. Just walk.
Yeah.
Or ride a bike.
We'll be complaining.
There's nowhere to park.
Oh, God.
Good,
All right,
Great.
back
Thank
over to
you.
you.
Yeah.
Excuse myself.
Yeah, thank you, Nancy. Really
Rest
appreciate
of
it.
your agenda. Thank you all very much.
All right, I will resume chair, and next on our agenda is Angel Hearts Market. This is special permit, site plan review and public hearing. I will invite the applicant to step forward, and this is a public hearing, so please present your plan to members of the public who may have not been here before.
Yes.
I'm gonna just your name for the record.
I'm Jan Brath, I'm a landscape architect with Trowbridge Wolf Michaels, and I'm representing Angel Hearts Market. And the proposed project is the old West End grocery store on Teganic Boulevard, Route 89. And we are proposing to rehab the existing structure and add a 1,350 square foot addition, commercial kitchen space and ADA accessible bathrooms to the rear of the property. Included is upgraded parking in the impervious spaces that were once the market's parking spaces. And then also we're adding a degree of green infrastructure to handle stormwater runoff, much of which isn't required for the project. We only typically have typical erosion and sediment controls that are necessary because it's under an acre. Going to provide an outdoor seating space that's ADA compliant with seating walls, furnishings, things like that patrons can use. The old canopy for the gas station in the front is going to cover patio space with additional outdoor seating in the front. All of the pavements are going to be porous. So porous asphalt, stone dust paving like they're using at the park, that's ADA compliant, as well as porous pavers for the patio space in the front. In addition, we're going to provide a number of bike racks due to the proximity of the Black Diamond Trail. We feel like there's going to be ample users utilizing this place for a rest stop or people coming up from the park. In addition, I'm working with Andy Sharaba. He is our engineer. He's doing septic system design and right-of-way approvals with New York State DOT. So we've already applied to the DOT for right-of-way approvals, and we haven't gotten any negative comments back on that. And Andy's currently working with Tompkins County Health Department on the water and also the septic design. So since the last meeting we were here, we've moved forward with Tompkins County Health, and they're working with us on that. So that was a good progress forward.
Could I just pause and ask you a question about, you mentioned the water, where will the water come from for this business?
The house right now has a shared well, which is in the deed. But we started looking at it after meeting with the Tompkins County Health Department. Kim and Drew actually drilled a new well, roughly 300 feet deep. And now we're looking at utilizing the new well for the water supply and detaching from the shared well. That was the original intent. That's why the new well was put in.
Great, okay, thank you.
And the new well's on that property, it'll be your well. Your
Yes,
personal- okay,
yes,
thank you.
that was the intent,
Mhm,
because of the shared system that was.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, that was the concern I had.
Yeah.
Oh, and with the septic, is it working with the health department Last time we spoke, it was uphill, potentially a sand filter system. Is that still the case?
The last discussion with Andy was possibly moving it to where our current septic system is, which is way downhill. Because his theory was that we're pumping anyway, so pump uphill or pump downhill, it doesn't matter. And with the,
So the intent might be with that they take their existing septic system that is used for the house, upsize that, so it serves the business and the house, but it would be a similar system. It's an engineered system. And it would be downhill from water, everything.
Yeah,
In the existing septic location.
right, okay, instead of behind the building uphill.
Exactly, and what that does, that eliminates all the grading that needs to happen and, soil removals and a lot of things.
A lot of disturbance.
It gets simplified because, the existing septic system has a footprint as it is. It'll need to be enlarged slightly, but it's already a septic
Yeah,
area.
it seemed like you would need to remove trees for the other one.
Right,
Yeah, so there's less disturbance. You're not
Exactly.
gonna remove those trees.
exactly.
So how does that affect us? Because that was one of the things we mentioned last time. If they don't put it there, it kind of, we need to see the new plans, right?
Well, it sounds like these plans are not forced to be modified by moving the septic
Nothing's
to
gonna
the
be changed.
existing.
The only thing that would change on this is our limit line would be cut off here. Because we wouldn't need to grade, up the hill. Here. This was a location of the
Right.
engineered sand system.
Right.
Up above.
Right.
So it really simplifies the site plan,
Yep.
disturbance, potential runoff, having to contain that,
Yep.
like a number of things.
Yep.
Like when you're on the road now and you're looking at the project area, it's to the right.
Yeah.
It's like right up, sort of pointing up above that.
Yeah, so this is
Mhm,
Teganic right here, and then this is Garrett Road.
mhm. So it's to
So
the
it's
right.
actually ahead of the house, between the house and Highway 89,
The existing septic system is on this side of the property.
or beyond the house.
Yeah.
Okay. Over by where the barn entrance,
Yep.
barn driveway
Yep.
is.
Yep,
Okay.
exactly.
And where's the well? Because you'll need a
Yeah.
buffer around the well.
The well, and we've been discussing that with Tompkins County Health. With the new location, we'll have the separation distance we need. It's right here.
Okay,
Okay,
where's the old well that you were sharing?
It's
With,
off the property, like
Yeah,
up
towards Garrett.
like way up.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I don't know if you even know where it is.
It's up, yeah, okay.
so it pretty much borders the other property
Mhm.
and another
Yeah.
property behind it.
Yeah, okay, all right. All right.
So you can see this is Stream Collaborative is our architect. Noah Demarest, and you can see the existing structure here in the red, and this is the existing canopy out here. The blue is the new proposed commercial kitchen, storage prep area, and ADA accessible bathrooms. We need 2 of those because of number of patrons. The original plan, we only had 1, but once Noah did, code analysis and everything, it was determined we needed 2. So that's the footprint. And then here's the kind of the layout of that interior and exterior space. Then I'll get to the architectural plan. The thought is we're gonna have a roll-up glass door on this side and a roll-up glass door in the front. So when the weather is good, you can open this all up and have the seating expanded outside. And then to the seating area that we're proposing up to the northwest. And then there's also a pickup window here, so people that are outside, they won't even need to come inside to get food or anything like that. And we have a number of booths and tables and chairs on the interior and some merchandising, and there will be some coolers as well. So the architectural plan. You can see here is the view, Garrett Road would be going up here, and this is the view from Teganic. So here's the existing canopy. Existing roof line is maintained, but it's gonna be extended. And then the roof line on the other side, there's a dormer for the hood. And then the peaked roof gets extended up a bit higher for mechanicals, so they can be placed up high when necessary or when we can. And
The new roof line on the south side is also designed to be able to accommodate photovoltaics.
Yeah.
Sure.
yeah, and that's shown here. We're not, initially, they're not gonna be put on, but the thought was eventually with that south facing roof. I worked on another project, very similar style building with Holt Architects, and we did the same thing. So it's gonna be prepped, you know, structurally and everything for photovoltaics for green energy. And then here are some elevations. The front view showing that roll-up door underneath the canopy. This is the view looking from the north side with the entrance door here, pickup window. And then the existing, this roll-up door here is the existing service area in the existing building. So that maintains and stays where it is. The building, the foundation is gonna be built up in the back, concrete, so it'll be waterproofed, and we'll also have drainage in the back to take care of any runoff. There'll be foundation drains and everything. Some details of some of the landscape items we're gonna incorporate. I mentioned the bioretention areas and stormwater gardens for the parking. We're gonna have a number of seat walls of natural limestone quarry block. We've used these quite extensively in the region. And they work out quite well, and with the landscape design, you can really fit plants in them, and they have a really naturalistic look. And then again, our bioretention filters. And planting plan. And as part of the planting plan, we've been talking with Kim, and we want to work in an edible garden, basically, herb garden, things like that, that you could actually use for the restaurant. So Sarah's working with Kim on that as well.
The septic tank for the initial system was to the south of the building. Are you planning to move that?
This one,
No, the tank itself, it was under the drive on the south. of the
Yeah,
building.
that
So
would-
what's the new plan?
that would likely, well, Andy is, he's working on the new plan right now, and he's gonna submit that to us by end of week.
But it won't affect the building location or any of the other plans?
No.
Okay.
I have a quick comment. So it's again, I feel like given what's sitting there now, this is such an improvement and it looks positive. I love the way you're handling. It looks sustainable as much as possible. I'm very pleased you moved the septic system. I was the one who was so concerned about leaking.
No, I know. That's,
Mhm.
we kind of put our heads together on that and, you know,
Yeah.
tried to rethink it
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
along with working with Kim
Yeah.
and Drew.
yep, that was
So
great.
Andy, he's a very, very competent engineer, and
Uh-huh.
he woke up thinking about it one night,
Yeah,
came up with a
Yeah.
good plan.
good.
Yeah.
Good. So somebody has written in some comments about it, your plans, and you've taken care of the well, and you've taken care of the septic
Mhm.
system. One thing they did mention, and it's not a minor one, is the fact that it did sit idle for all those years with the oil tanks underground and then some gas tanks above ground. And obviously Jacksonville dealt with
Yeah.
that as a
Yeah.
leakage one time. Did you guys test the soils or?
It was closed in 1994. That's when the market went out of business. The tanks were removed. There was a 4,000, a 6,000, and a 500 gallon tank. They were removed in accordance with New York State DEC
Uh-huh.
and EPA. And also the soils were tested
Oh,
then, and they
good.
Yeah.
removed 50 tons of soil.
Yeah.
And it was remediated at that time.
Okay.
And since then, it was deemed
Yeah,
no issues after that.
That's
removal.
great.
I see too, they have, if you look at the application, it's page 43.
Thank you.
And it's a B and D Pump and Tank Incorporated, and it gives
Okay, great.
their summary.
Okay, great.
And
That's to-
when-
for your protection.
When I first
yeah.
started working with Kim and Drew, that was my first question. I'm like, that's an old gas station. Tell me a little bit about it and what you have. So
Yeah.
we were very happy to see the
Yeah.
documentation for all the
Great.
remediated work.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Contaminated soil, amount of contaminated soil estimated 50 tons. And they stockpiled on a plastic hauler and hauled it away.
Great.
Further site remediation required, none.
Okay, that's great news.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah,
really,
page 44 and 45.
And in addition, you know,
43.
environmental requirements and things like that were taken into account.
Mhm.
We had our environmental scientist, she filed an application with the Department of Interior,
Uh-huh.
Fish and Wildlife Service. Because of the northern long-eared bat,
Mhm.
and also to check for any endangered or threatened
Mhm.
plant or animal species. And they came back to us with no adverse comments on
Yeah,
that as well.
Yeah, I see that in there. Maybe I'm feeling ignorant. Setbacks. What are the setbacks of the building from the highway? Because it's close, it's very close.
Well,
And I'm looking all over your map and I'm not seeing a setback from. the highway.
We submitted that in the initial, when we went for BZA, and it was determined we shouldn't go to the BZA, that we needed to do a special permit. Because it was an existing commercial space, so it is,
Mhm.
it doesn't
That's-
conform to the existing setback requirement.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. And we had in that initial application, we had that drawing with all the setbacks on it.
Yeah, because I'm not seeing the setbacks listed
Yeah,
on your map. All right, thank you for refreshing.
so wait a minute, what does that mean then?
It's grandfathered, basically.
Yeah.
As long as they stick within, like, they'll
The same
extend it
footprint.
further out, right?
It's not
They-
going closer to the road.
Right, their
It's going
footprint's the
further
same
back.
as it was
Well, it's not as it was, it's bigger.
Well,
towards
from
the back.
but
But all
towards
the
back.
addition is deeper in.
Back,
Yeah,
right, which
yes.
is not where the setback would be. Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm just making sure, okay.
Yeah. It's gonna, yeah, I'm very happy that you're doing this project, because I think it's really gonna benefit, that site and the people that travel that road. It's definitely been an eyesore in the town for quite some time. Yeah, and we will have public comment. So is there anything else you wanted to present? We're gonna open it up to public comment.
I think that about sums it up.
Yeah, okay, so you're welcome to have a seat, or you're welcome to stand. So we'll open up for public comment and then we will do a discussion. Public comment for this project and for any public comment period is to approach the microphone, state your name and your address for the record. And then you have a 3-minute limit for the comment. I'll give you a 1 minute heads up. And then if you have mobility or trouble standing, by all means, stay seated and speak up. That's all. But we do need you to speak loud enough to get your comments in the mic, because all this is recorded. So I saw you raise your hand. And let me just grab my timer here.
My name is Winifred Driscoll. I live at 1459 Tanning Boulevard. And my only question is, what kind of food are you gonna serve?
Did you miss the donuts that we've been bringing to the meetings?
It is baked, yeah, it is baked goods and sandwiches and salads and that type of.
All right. Thank you. Yes, sir.
I'm Wynn's husband.
What's your name?
Grew up at
Yeah,
Woodsworth.
Go up, keep my.
Oh,
Well, you can just,
we can hear.
yeah,
I speak well,
just say your name. Yeah.
because I can't hear very well. I have had an association with this property for 85 years.
Wow.
I used to get candy bars from Fletch. We lived at 1459, which I believe is the closest cottage to you. And we're looking forward to, can't wait.
Great. And sir, just say your name for the record.
Say again?
Just say your name for the record.
John Driscoll.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to it.
Are there any other comments from within the room or any comments from online? On Zoom? Go ahead, Michael.
I project pretty well, so I'm Michael Malpass from 8 Prospect Street here in the village. And as one of those people who for 34 years has been driving past 89 Bravo, really I think this really helped a lot. And it should be a big help for the entire township. Will you, as one question, will you be just, is it just a restaurant or would you have something for people coming down on the bikes to take with them when you drive?
No, we'll have grab and go stuff too, so snacks.
Alright. So I'm gonna take the other comments first, so. I'll take Vincent Mulcahy.
Hello. Can you hear
State
me?
your name for the record and,
Vincent Mulcahy.
and I'll start the timer.
Okay, great. First of all,
And your address as well, and
3012
we can't hear you.
3012
You're on mute, hold on.
3012 Garrett Road.
Is the
Can you hear
TV
me?
volume low? Do we have a? No,
Hello.
Turn up.
Let me see what I can do.
try speaking now.
How about that?
Can't hear you, no.
Yeah, Deb, I can hear. I can hear you. It's on their end. No, it's their end.
Another.
Try Francis.
Yeah. All right. In the meantime, we're gonna try Francis Mulcahy.
Hey, can you hear me? I think it's on your
We
end.
can't hear you either. Hold on a second, please.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, dear.
Dad, it's on their end, so they're trying to sort it.
There we go. All right.
Alright.
So Francis will. Well, let's
You
let's
let Vince
go.
go.
Vince, go ahead and just state your name and your address for the record. Thank you.
Vincent Mulcahy, 3012 Garrett Road. Is that working?
Yep, it is. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, really quickly, some confusion when I first got this document. It looked to me like this facility was freestanding. There's an outline that separates it from the adjacent property. I was very surprised to see that it's now combined with the adjacent property. And I'm wondering how that happened, given the requirements for a conservation zone. Now there are two buildings with very different functions in the same site. Okay, since I only have 3 minutes, I want to go really quickly. So I'd submitted comments, a couple of corrections. There was no previous well serving these properties. It was a spring in a creek on a separate property that served the houses and the water's a huge problem here. One of the things that I think the presenter pointed out is that the septic system is not finalized. It has not been determined, nor has water. These are pending. Your own guidelines suggest that community infrastructure and services, including but not limited to protective services, roadways, garbage collection, schools, water and sewer facilities, are currently or will be of adequate capacity. There is no indication that you have any assurance that you have adequate septic system service, or these are pending, or water. Therefore, I really question whether you can make a determination tonight without those kind of assurances relative to your own guidelines. And water's a big problem here. It always has been, which is why these other properties used a spring, not a well, a spring to feed them. And I'm sure the health department is not going to tolerate that. So it's yet to be seen whether they're going to find water at 300 feet. The next question is, if they find water, is it going to be contaminated? You know, when the DEC closes these contamination issues, like in 1994, which is highly suspicious, that doesn't mean that it's fine. It means that it could be reopened. There could be contaminated soil there. And digging a well is, might be a great way to find out what it is. I'm concerned about parking.
In 30 seconds, sir.
I would like to know what the capacity of this restaurant, which it is going to be. It seems like it's speculated to be quite large, okay? So you have 12 parking spaces. What happens if this is wildly successful and you have 30, 40, look at the Glenwood Pines, visitors? Where are they parking? On 89, 55 miles an hour?
5 seconds, sir.
Yeah, so I think water's a big one. By your own guidelines, it would seem to me that you have to table this project.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And next we'll take Francis.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time. My name's Francis Mulcahy. I'm also at 3012 Garrett Road. I think some good practical issues have been brought up. I have some more kind of thematic as well as practical issues. So the big one, if you look at the surrounding properties of this proposed commercial development, you've got the Cayuga Nature Center to the north, you've got our Halcyon Ridge property, you've got the Bailiwick Girl Scout camp across the street. All of these are sort of non-for-profit natural conservation areas for the most part. Conservation is at the heart of these three properties. And so I really see this development as sort of stepping in to exploit that and commercialize that non-for-profit, natural area. So in terms of a practical one, my question would be, has the developer provided a business plan to the town? How robust of a business is this? If you Google online, 30% of all restaurants fail in the first year, 60% all fail, 60% of all restaurants fail within the second year. So what happens if this restaurant is unsuccessful? Do they then sell off just that restaurant lot, or do they have to sell off the entire lot? Or do we enter into another dereliction scenario like we currently have? Or does the property become a 7-Eleven? I think we have to have some foresight here. So just to reiterate, I think that this type of commercial development on the scenic byway, surrounded by conservationist, non-for-profit natural areas, would be sort of detrimental to the whole neighborhood character. And I think, it comes back to community need. This is not serving a community need. This is serving a personal for-profit need to the owner. And as a native Ithacan, I've been in Ithaca my entire life, 35 years old. It's kind of tiresome and depressing to watch as the natural character of this area, particularly in Ulysses, is getting, eroded for the benefit of these sort of outside investors and these for-profit enterprises. And then finally, another practical comment. If you look at the driveway, it's all left turns across 89, left turns out of Garrett back onto 89. So has anyone thought about sort of traffic patterns and safety around that? So that's all I have.
Thank you. All right, could we take, let's see, in the middle, I can't see your name. You have blonde hair and glasses. Karen and Bobby. Yeah. Oh, we just need to unmute you. All right, do you need to unmute yourself? I think you need to unmute yourself, maybe. Do you need to unmute your computer? I think we have you off mute.
Unmute. Okay, maybe that works. Let's see. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Just name and address and I'll start the clock. Thank you.
Yes, Karen Metter at 1617 Taconic Boulevard, just under 2 miles north. And I think this is a huge community benefit. Right now, if any of us in the surrounding area need food or groceries, we typically have to go more than 4 miles into Trumansburg or more than 8 miles into Ithaca. And I'm a regular customer of their current restaurant in Ithaca. Otherwise, I have no, direct relationship, but they've proven success in their business in Ithaca. It's a wonderful restaurant. I enjoy eating there typically about once a week or at least every other week. And with this location, it would, I think, be ideally situated. And when you talk about the fact that this used to be a gas station, that it's been derelict for years, I only see this particularly as they've presented all of the conscientious attention to detail, that this is going to be a huge improvement. And I really strongly encourage that we don't put too many roadblocks in their way to make this successful, that the concerns that have been raised, that hopefully, those can be addressed. And it sounds to me like they are being appropriately addressed. And I would just hopefully facilitate this rather than put obstacles in their way. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And next, could we have Cynthia?
Yes, I don't seem to be able to give you my video, but if you can hear me, that's good, right?
Yeah, we'll settle for name and address.
Okay, perfect. 3012 Garrett Road.
And Cynthia, what's your last name?
Livermore.
Thank you.
One item that wasn't mentioned on the in the site plan environmental review provided by the applicant is that there was another spill. It looks to me like it was on 11/20/2005 of a 25-gallon gas overfill spill, probably from a surface tank, because the other the ground tanks had been removed in '94. But that is on a list of sites, and the fire department was called, and there was surface cleanup, but there was never any that I can tell from the report, there was never any excavation and checking for soil. So I think soil contamination. Also on this in and out, the way that the map, that the entrance, it's one way in off of 89 and then exit one way out of their parking area onto Garrett Road. Again, this is a 50, maybe you can get it, the parking, that maybe the applicant can get the parking changed, reduced to 45 miles an hour. But this is a 55-mile-an-hour zone. People like us who turn left onto Garrett Road and then immediately running into it, people exiting from that parking lot would be, I think, could be a disaster. There's a steep incline coming down Garrett onto 89 that the town salts enormously from at the first look of snow because it's extremely slippery. And the proximity to the Girl Scout camp, another thing that was not mentioned on their application, on their site form, was there is a question asked there if there are any facilities serving children within a 1,500-foot distance. And the Girl Scout camp is immediately across the street. I don't know how close the nature center is, but those are both organizations, nonprofits that service children. And fundamentally, I think I don't understand how the town board can grant the nonconformity request here of permitting in this conservation zone, the two buildings on that barely over 5-acre parcel, which is, the chief mechanism for maintaining and defining the conservation zone. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else online who would like to make a comment? Is there anybody in the room who would like to make a comment?
Not a comment, just a question. Does Mark imply I can get local brand, six pack of beer, et cetera.
I don't know.
Carry out.
Applicant?
We're actually gonna have fresh baked bread, fresh baked bread. Fresh baked bread.
But what else? Also a restaurant?
Yes,
Primarily a restaurant.
it's restaurant and baked good. So it's sandwiches,
Alright.
drinks, baked goods.
It's not a mini grocery store.
No,
So I think that, thank you, sir. I would, we could either close the public comment or we could leave it open for any additional comments after discussion. Do you have any desire either way around that?
Well, we don't have the final plan yet, the septic and the well, so we probably should leave the public comment open until we get that final plan. Because we don't know where it is yet. So I would suggest that.
I agree.
They raise some good points. The traffic issue is. How do we come to, I mean, I think the comments about the traffic are not minor. I hear it is very steep and. The fact that the traffic would be turning when people are coming out is something, so how will we resolve something like that? A traffic study?
That's a DOT approval. The DOT has to, the DOT has to decide if that's good. Where are you, is your name Yan?
Yeah.
Jan, where are you with the DOT process? Like, have they looked over your plans?
Yeah.
Have they, where are they?
They are in favor of the left turn in, because if you actually try to come out of that entrance, there's limited sight distance. You know, Kim and Drew can attest to that when they pull out of their driveway, because people, it's a 55 road, but you know, a lot of times you're going more than 55. So you have the sight distance when you pull in left, or if you're pulling in, you know, heading south, it's actually a safer maneuver. And then also the sight distance from the corner of Garrett up to the exit, that was intentional as well, to give you a sight distance triangle, you know, for exiting that, or any vehicles turning on to Garrett or coming down the hill.
Just, how are you gonna prevent people from going out onto Teganic? Because that, as you know, people are not gonna listen to arrows or anything else. They're gonna go out on Teganic, one way or the other.
I mean, how do you stop somebody from breaking the law?
I know, but because that particular area at 55 miles an hour, somebody does come out, it could be dangerous. Is there any way to put like, you know, do not enter?
Well, yeah, there would be signage for sure.
There will be signage. Oh, okay, okay,
Absolutely.
okay. Well, you didn't mention any signage, so that's why I asked.
Yeah, no, it'll be for DOT.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are a number of driveways along here too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's residential driveways, there's the nature center, there's the Girl Scout camp. So
Yeah.
there's already traffic
Oh, yeah.
entering in this area. I'm just thinking about, has the DOT talked at all about signage? You know, have they elaborated on their plans, like signage on the highway, like, you know, traffic entering, lowering the speed limit? Like, I don't know. Have they talked about that at all with their plans?
I'd have to defer to Andy on that one, because he's in the DOT permitting. The conversations he's had with the Syracuse district, they haven't made any mention of that, of lowering speed limits or anything. You know, just like you said, the nature center, they have way more traffic than this place will ever get.
Oh, yeah.
somehow the nature center has a crosswalk,
Right.
55-mile-an-hour road.
Yeah,
which
okay, well,
I don't understand that,
all
honestly.
right, so, let's see. Ma'am, we are, oh, I'm sorry, we're going, all right, yeah.
So anyway, I feel like some good points are being brought up. This is, kind of like grandfathered. It's already there. They're buying it and they're actually relative to what's there, they're not even changing it that much. I mean, other than getting rid of all the gas station stuff. So it's not really like. They're not asking for a change of usage or anything. So even though everybody does feel like it's surrounded by conservation zones and all, this is not, it's kind of like what we're dealing with Teganigan in miniature.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
so the Teganigans was asking the same kind of thing, but they, in terms of. The comment about the scale, and I'm only gonna talk about it because we're dealing with it exactly that in Teganigan. which is you bought a property and you designed it to have a certain capacity. Given, you know, and it's nicely designed and I think you've done a really good job. But what would, I mean, we're not gonna say you get the right to expand or anything, right? They're using the existing footprint.
It's bigger, it's significantly bigger. You
But
can
it's
see the,
within the zoning.
but it's within the use.
Yes,
And
yeah.
it's also within the zoning.
Right.
Yeah,
So it's
they're
totally
not
exempt.
asking for a
Right.
change to the zoning.
I have a question, why do you need a special permit?
Because of the two houses, the two buildings. Right.
So-
No, oh,
The CZ zone requires special permit for restaurant use.
Yeah,
Because it's
oh,
in conservation.
oh,
that's,
so isn't there an issue with their big house and
I mean, it's,
No.
They're both permitted uses.
yeah.
they are, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I do have a question. I was looking at your old plan, so really from 89, you're only about. From the carport, about 40 feet, give or take.
It's a little bit more than that. Is it around there? Yeah, right,
Okay.
40, 50.
Yeah, well, you don't have it on here, I'm just adding up what I see, so it's about that, yeah, okay, that was my only question.
That well, you said they did drill a well?
It's drilled.
And
Yeah,
is
it's
there
drilled.
water?
Yeah, there's water.
And have they done a flow test on the water?
What would that?
That would sort of see how much is coming out
Gallons
over
yeah,
gallons per
It's
minute?
about 3 gallons a minute.
3?
So,
Okay.
but it has a capacity, I believe the gentleman who dug it will be 330 gallons.
Without all the tank.
Oh, the home.
Yeah,
The holding tank?
because of,
Without
no,
all the
Without
because
all
of
the
the
tank.
depth of it.
Yeah,
He said every morning you'll have 330 gallons.
I see.
Of use.
I see.
Right.
Okay, okay. And are you intending to have any testing done on the water for?
Absolutely.
I
yeah,
mean,
have
'cause
it
it's a
there.
rest-
High filtration and
Andy's in discussion with the Tompkins County
Health
Health,
department.
and they're gonna probably have extensive testing
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
for, you know, several months.
Yeah, I mean,
And then
yeah,
once everything pans out and there's
Yeah.
no issues, then it'll go to regular increments
yeah.
as required by the health department.
yeah. I mean, I manage a children's camp in the health department. You know, we do regular testing for them, and if there's any kind of issue, they come out and they, you know, we do more testing.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a question, what do you anticipate as, you know, how many people can actually fit into the building at one time? Is there a like 50, 25?
There'll be, you know, it'll have a capacity that's set by, you know, occupancy standards.
What would that be?
I can't recall offhand what that was. I mean, the seating that we have inside. I think we have seating for, what was it? 16 or 18 inside.
Okay.
But the thought was, you know, most of the seating would be exterior.
16 to 18, and how many parking spots?
Yeah,
again?
that's
That's what
what
I
I
get.
was leading to.
There's 12 spaces, but we wouldn't expect 16 people to show up. Because you're gonna sit at a booth, a 4-person booth.
Yeah,
So I couldn't see 4 people that don't know each other sitting in a booth.
Right,
together.
right. Okay. And the hours of operation, again, from what I understand, it was sort of a breakfast and lunch operation. Do you
Right.
have, is that correct?
yes,
Okay, roughly what hours? Because I'm just trying to think about traffic. I'm trying to think about like people going to work, are gonna want to stop and get coffee.
right,
here.
it's
Right.
early morning,
Mhm.
coffee, 'cause we are gonna have a coffee bar.
Mhm.
Coffee, baked goods,
Uh-huh.
sandwiches, you can say, so it's gonna be more of the lunch. Breakfast people, and
Right,
people going to the parks that wanna grab
Uh-huh.
food to take to the parks with them.
right. What time do you anticipate closing in the afternoon?
What are your current hours?
Yeah,
We close at 3 now, but I mean, I can see it going to like 4-ish, you know,
right, okay. So open during morning rush, closed during afternoon rush is what I'm hearing.
yeah,
Yeah, okay, for traffic.
This one year round?
yes.
Other discussion? There's a lot brought up about use of, you know, conservation area, they're not asking for a zoning, a zoning change. They're not asking for a variance or a new zoning district. These are all permitted uses within the conservation zone.
The other thing that I think is attractive is like in the comprehensive plan, we talk
Mhm.
about reusing
Mhm.
older facilities, and this is a great way of
It
doing
does
that.
say that in the comp plan, yes.
Yeah,
To try and use existing buildings
Mhm.
instead of building new ones.
right.
Yeah.
And it was an established business at one time, so we're not changing anything.
Right.
Right. I would say that it does complement the existing rural character of the town in the sense that when you have something that's close to home, like I'm just looking at the comp plan, that's potentially a little less driving, right? Instead of going all the way up to
Mhm.
Trumansburg or going all the way to Ithaca, you can get that loaf of bread. And a cafe, a bakery, these are all part of, this is part of rural character.
Breakfast in the morning.
Yeah.
Sandwiches
Yeah.
for the afternoon.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, we live on Du Bois, which is a ways away, but I remember all the time being sent down to Steve to get something or another. I mean, it was very incredibly convenient. It was a real loss when it went away.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
donuts were very good.
Oh, those donuts.
Oh, our donuts.
Yes.
I didn't know Steve had donuts. This is-
No, I didn't mean anybody else's, I'm talking about yours.
So,
Yeah, I don't think he did that.
Mhm. I'm just looking through the comp plan. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I like it. I mean, we like a lot of everything you're designing there. But there are a lot of things hanging in the air. Like today's the first time we knew you were moving the septic,
Mhm.
and we just found out you dug a well.
Mhm.
And so, and then the traffic, which is definitely an excellent point. I mean, I really would like to see a letter from DOT and have them address
have
this. All right,
We
so, then we need to see that and you're, a little bit more.
Yeah, I'd like to see the septic on the
Yeah.
map, I mean, I'm not saying I don't believe you, but like,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
see it on the map. I'd also like to,
Well,
I
we
would
should-
like that
we
letter
should
from
have
DOT as well.
For what we signed,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Plot diagram,
Mhm.
yeah.
And that's why I wanted to keep the
Yeah.
public meeting open, so we can have
Yeah.
that final
Yeah.
plan to see
Mhm.
before we approve it or disapprove, whichever case may be.
Yeah.
Right.
so I am concerned. I mean, does DOT, they don't do a traffic study, but this is a really good point. The topography of that particular area, the steepness coming up to it, coming down. And we
They-
don't want to see accidents
I
start
know,
happening at
yeah,
that corner. This is our
Yeah.
one chance to try and
Well-
influence that.
I mean, go ahead.
So, does DOT, we just, it's kind of like, we don't have any say over the septic, so we talk about it, and then we always end up saying, well, Department of Health determines it, which is kind of like. This is a good case where they moved it, good, but do we have any input to that traffic
So,
evaluation at all?
I guess what I would
think
say
it's a good
is,
thing.
I would hesitate to really give much input because I don't have the ability to study the speed, the site, the angle of view, the amount of cars, the distance between the exit and the entrance of Garrett Road to 89. Like, those are things that I wouldn't want to make a call on
It's
because I
not
don't
us,
have
but
that
We have it
expertise.
for traffic studies.
But we,
From clients, I mean, we're talking about it for the
you
Dollar
know,
General.
So I think, I mean, I feel personally, I feel for this, the number of the volume of traffic to me, doesn't warrant traffic study in the way that something like in a Teganic would with like
Mhm.
75 rooms.
Okay.
Like that's my
Oh,
assessment, that I would want
right.
to see that the
Right.
DOT has done their assessment
got ya.
and. Cause I think, they're saying that the DOT has approved this, but I agree, we should see it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, maybe they even have some caveats, be very careful or something, and it'd be nice to
Well,
see the letter.
And the other thing too is a traffic study, like if, would that even go to the DOT? Would the DOT even consider it?
Oh, good point.
And if they don't, then we're left with an
Mhm.
expensive traffic study that
Right,
the
right.
applicants paid for.
Agreed.
And no real ability to make recommendations.
Yep.
Because we don't
Yeah,
do
it's not our
we
area
don't
of
do the
expertise.
science.
Not my
yeah,
thing.
Yeah,
The DOT basically looked at the plans that Andy put together. And they made recommendations for turning radii, ingress, egress, things like that. And that basically satisfied, any concerns they had. in that portion of the roadway, and I can have Andy, chime in on that as well.
I think.
have one question. What about delivery trucks?
Delivery truck, I brought that up last
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
That's figured into the plan.
okay.
They're not gonna be large trucks.
Yeah, I
It's
didn't
gonna
think
be
they
like
would
short
be.
box truck,
Right.
like Cisco truck. They can make the maneuver in, go around and then back into the loading dock area
Okay.
and then exit, the same way cars.
Mhm.
And the other thing about traffic, I should point out, when the market was in operation, this was pretty much a free for all. Garrett Road was completely open, like you could drive in and out all through it. That just recently got, I think the town or somebody had burned that up recently.
The lady in the back row had her hand up.
Alright, well,
Do you want
let's,
Somebody had-
yeah, go ahead.
Sigrid Collins, I live in, Ulysses, I have a question, having had a restaurant myself, where is the staff going to park? I mean, if the parking places are all configured for the amount of guests.
They own the house and live there, so they have a driveway.
No employees.
Well, they have the driveway, so the employees can
okay.
actually park in the
Oh.
driveway.
But I think this will be a successful place and there's no possibility to have more parking.
Yeah, and there was no parking requirement.
All right, let's see. And I saw that you had your hand up as well. Did you have a comment?
My only comment was, the gas station was there for so many years, and there was never an issue of people going in or out or any altercation with the cars.
Hey, just, would you just state your name for the record? Would you state your name for the record?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just state your name for the record? Thank you very much. All right. So I'm actually gonna sort of limit the comments right now while we discuss. So I am looking at local economy, balance the needs of its residents and the environment with the benefits afforded by practical economic development practices that build on the unique characteristics of the community. And small business development is part of that. And so I do feel like, it is a feature that's been there for a long time. You mentioned, somebody here mentioned 85 years, maintaining the existing roof line at the front anyway is sort of in keeping with the character of what's been there. So I applaud that choice. So I'm hearing that folks want to see the septic and want to see a letter from the DOT prior to being able to approve this. Am I hearing anything? Am I hearing that right? And I'm not hearing people want anything else.
No, I'm very comfortable with if it really is fit the comp plan exactly.
Yeah.
It's all, and the fact it's already been there and it's not changing that much. It's not like, oh, it's 4 stories or, it's whatever.
Yeah.
So it's really then, people are raising good comments about their safety. And I feel like we need to make sure those are addressed. That's our job. And that's why let's see the plans with the new septic because it changed. It might change again. And I want to see if it's going to change back or change again, we need to see that. So the septic, well location, and the traffic report.
Yeah,
From them.
and could we get more than the letter? I would like to know what, like, if you have more from the DOT, I would just like to see what they factor in.
Yeah, I could get everything that's gone back and forth.
I'm sure it's like 100 pages, but I don't know if you can just,
It
try
actually
to send it
wasn't
to you
that
in a
much.
file.
There weren't like major concerns with this. So, yeah, I'll get that.
If you could send that to Niels,
Yep.
both those things, and then, do you know when the septic design will be complete?
Yeah, he said he was gonna issue us new plans this week.
Okay, so will you be prepared to come back at our next meeting in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay.
And typically, that's something that's a condition, of the approval, to get the final sign off from health department for water and septic.
Yeah, we understand. We just want to see it on the map.
And what about the signage? So typically, we have very tight restrictions on that, but in this case, because of the traffic, I want to make sure he is putting in, entrance here only, which means more
So
signage.
is that part of what the DOT is recommending? Do they get down to that level?
I don't know.
Do they recommend signage?
They haven't. They recommended, like I said,
Well,
turning radii.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But
that's what I
signage
was,
would be a package of the, plan we do
Mhm.
with, do not enter,
Mhm.
left turn only, right?
Appropriate
You can
signage.
put
to
that
ensure.
on the new
We
plan.
can.
Yeah.
You know, it just has to be a notation.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll have signage added and we'll have the details for that too.
Yeah.
We usually put a signage
Yeah.
plan, so it's like A, B, C, D, so you
Right.
can see on the plan what's what.
And all that signage will be small enough that it doesn't require permitting.
Yeah.
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 All right.
Well, then I'm going to make a motion to keep the public hearing open until the next meeting.
Second,
Any discussion? All in favor?
hi,
Excellent. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
thank you all for your great comments.
Yes,
They're thoughtful
absolutely.
and they all help to make things
Yeah.
healthier for our town and hopefully
Yeah.
more successful for you. I mean, you don't want
Yeah.
accidents out there.
No.
We don't want accidents
No.
out there.
Yeah.
No?
Next, Dominic.
All right, so
I just have a
I-
real problem having it coming in off of 89 rather than get the road.
so I need to take a very quick break.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take a quick break. So I need to use the restroom. And then we will be up next week with Gail's. All right.
So I don't need a agenda.
All right, folks, I'd like to get your attention. We're gonna take a 3-minute break. And then we're gonna come, all right, we're gonna take a 5-minute break and then we're gonna come back for Gail's 2-lot line subdivision. Gail's.
He moved Gales up.
I moved it.
Head of the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Concluding our break. And the next matter of business on the agenda tonight is the excuse me, folks, I need it to be quiet out there, Mr. Town Board. Yeah, thank you. All right, yeah, folks, we're just trying to conclude. So if you'd like to stay, you're welcome to, but all right, thank you very much. Gail's 2-lot land subdivision, this is a sketch plat review. The applicant, Kim Gales, on behalf of the property owners, Patricia Chafee and Robin Woodard, applied for a minor subdivision of the subject site to subdivide the existing 8.06 acre lot into 2 lots, parcel A, approximately 1.43 acres, and parcel B, approximately 6.63 acres. The residential zone requires a minimum lot area, etc. So they're meeting the minimum areas. They're looking to create a flag lot, and the address I have 40XX Jacksonville Road. Is that because house address has not been established? Yes, okay. Is the applicant present?
We are, yes. Yes, we are. I'm
Okay.
online.
Yeah, hello. So the purpose of the sketch plat review is to review your application and to see if there's any additional information that we would want to ask of you.
Okay,
And then to schedule a, because it's a subdivision, we have to schedule a public hearing. So we'd be looking to schedule a public hearing and with, a site plan review. So this is a fairly informal chance for us to ask you a couple questions and see if your application's in order.
okay.
Is there anything you want to say about your project?
Yes, the gentleman in the front row is speaking on our behalf.
All right.
It's Eric. Yeah,
And I see Josie is all I see. What's your name?
my name is Kim Gales.
Oh, Kim. Yep. Okay, great. Okay, thank you. And you said you're speaking on behalf?
Eric is, yes.
Okay, all right, excellent. Do you have anything to say?
Not right off the bat,
Okay.
I'm a retired New York State professional engineer, but right now I do grandparent daycare, which is far harder.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Planning board members, do you have questions for the applicant?
I have one.
Yes.
Just that typically when you submit materials, we like to have a good sense of like what else is happening on the property and whether you have streams or wetlands, because they require buffers. And then when you are gonna be putting in like a house and a septic system, we wanna make sure those don't collide and in your particular case, you actually have a stream. I believe it's a permanent stream with a buffer, 100-foot buffer, and you have a national wetland inventory wetland, which Tompkins County recognizes. Which basically is the back half of the whole parcel is legally wetlands, and I'm not ready to review all that now, but you need to consider that, okay? And so there is an easy way to get that information. I sent it to the board because there's what's called the Tompkins County Mapping Portal, and under natural resources, they will map your streams for you and show you where the buffers are. So you do have a good chunk of your property that falls into that category.
Yeah, I figured you would ask for that. It's a good thing to attach to your application. To look at it and have it be part of your consideration, because it's certainly part of our
Right,
consideration.
and her seeker right now, she has been saying no wetlands,
Yeah,
no streams,
and
and
that's
not
not
correct.
accurate. Yeah. So we'd want to see the seeker amended to reflect the wetlands, and we'd want to see you. Can you send her the map, Niels?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I just did a screenshot. She should probably,
Yeah, really go on there.
Go on
Does
the
it include the address? What you said?
oh yeah, I mean, they'll give you the parcel, all the information about the parcel, it'll show the little balloon
Yeah.
cut out. So I just did a quick screenshot for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah. What is the requirement for frontage on parcel A?
We'll look at the map here. So are you talking about the flag?
No, not the flag.
Parcel A.
Parcel A is being taken out, right?
Yes.
So what is the requirement?
I think it's is it
Well, it's
400?
only 200 feet here, 214.
But they only need in the residential zone,
Oh.
the whole lot is 3,200.
Yeah, right.
So only,
I don't remember.
I think it's only 200.
yeah, I think it's actually in Niels's thing as well.
Are you asking for setback or?
No,
For
What's the
frontage.
minimum width?
Minimum
Lot
lot.
frontage for Jackson Hole Road.
160.
In that area?
160.
160.
Well, if they only need 32,000 square feet.
Okay, and is that because it's in the
Residential.
Oh, residential.
They're actually putting about twice that area into the lot A.
And currently on parcel A, is there a home already? I mean, I don't see one on here.
No,
Okay. And honestly, like what you are planning to do with the parcel isn't really relevant to this. I was just curious. So are there any other questions, any other pieces of material that planning board members would like, to see them submit?
So once the subdivision is approved, do they, in this area, have to come back to us for the lot review?
Well, I mean, if they
When they
build on it, yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, because it would be site plan review.
You have to go back when we build, we have to go back to the planning board, site review or whatever.
It's best for the subdivision.
I know,
Yeah.
that's why I'm wondering, because then, does the wetland even really matter?
Well, it does, because we want to make sure that somebody isn't subdividing their land and completely subdividing off an area that they can't build on.
Right.
Because it wouldn't
They wouldn't
make
know
sense.
that. They might not know.
They might not
Oh,
know.
just
they might-
tell them the
Right.
information.
Yeah.
They're making decisions.
They're
and they might
making
end
the
up going, oh my
decision,
God, now we
yeah.
can't do anything with that parcel. So
Exactly.
That's kind of like telling the Philly lady, like, you don't have a lot of room over there.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Just
putting it
check.
in the application makes it very clear that they know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So just to clarify though, if the planning board approves the subdivision and they go for their construction permit, that's just a construction permit. They don't have to go to site plan review for the planning board unless you make it a condition.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Which,
Right.
right,
No.
yeah.
So if that's true, I mean, I would definitely like to see any, because people are so unaware of these buffers and all.
Yeah.
I would like to make parcel B, that one require a site plan review because of the nature of the wetland and the stream on there and the buffer.
Would that site plan review, or would you want a delineation report as part of the construction permit?
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, that's what you would need, unless they just said, well, we just gave it so much wide berth, we're way back here, we didn't do it.
right.
some way or other to know that they're aware that they're not allowed to clear that vegetation and they can't build in it or put any buildings in it. So either through the site plan review process or requiring a delineation before it goes to the building, I'll take either one.
Why don't you talk with Mark and Nathan and figure it out for the next meeting? Okay. All right, anything else? All right, any questions for us?
Well, do we, okay. We often ask for topographics too.
Oh,
Does that
yeah,
include,
yeah. I do want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
Good.
included within public.
With the
Wetland
wetland.
and everything.
Was
Sure,
it-
not
did it
all
show
of
it?
it.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I didn't look at it. So.
Rebecca, is that on there?
They can have it on there. That mapping is very good. So
Yeah.
You can ask to put contours.
So let's include the
Yeah,
contour
that's a
lines,
good
because
idea.
that's just something that we like to see.
It's a good matter that it costs $500, but just.
It's actually free. This is actually a free service. It doesn't cost $500, but we do understand that cost and cost and time matters to people, absolutely.
So the top is adequate with the 2-foot increment they have on the contour.
Oh, yeah, if you can get us like 2-foot interval contours, that would be freaking awesome, but yeah.
It doesn't have to
The Tompkins,
Don't take 10 or 20.
the Tompkins County mapping portal, have you used that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
it has all the information we need. I mean, it will have the buffers, the stream location. Sufficient for this.
And they're 10-foot.
I think they're 2-foot actually, but I haven't looked at it recently.
Yeah, that's LiDAR, yes.
All right, well, if there's nothing else, and if you're clear on what we're asking for, then do you feel clear on that? All right, so you can send that to Niels and he'll send it out to us.
And can we have your name, please? Your name and address?
Yeah, Eric Whitney, and I live right down here in Ulysses, 8085 Falls Road.
All right.
Favorite place I've ever lived in Ulysses, enjoy it.
Yeah, good. Are you able to do a public hearing at our next meeting? We would schedule you for that. I just want to make sure you're not out of town. Or
What day is that?
let me look at the calendar.
17th, it's 2 weeks from today.
Mhm. No sense in scheduling it if you can't make it.
No, I'll be just back in town.
Okay, all right, so let's.
We have that information provided at least a week in advance. So
Yeah, that's the other part.
Yeah, we can get that. Let's just flip out, you want to flip out the map there and if necessary to have
The top
the
one, the
address or
wetland.
somebody add it, drop it over top of their map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would accept a motion to schedule a public hearing on this for site plan review for October 17th.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Second,
Are they gonna
Well,
signage?
They'll need signage, and then I guess the other part of that, if you know, I'm gonna pause. For notification, we want the signage, I think we should do mailings to all the neighbors, and I think that's sufficient for a subdivision.
Yeah.
Okay, so, site plan, public hearing with signage and mailings as notification for October 17th, I'd accept a motion for that.
They just did.
I know, I just added this the
Okay.
notification.
No, want to say it again? You would. All right, Reb 1,
Anybody, I'll, make the motion again.
all right, Rebecca 2.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. All right, thank you. So we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Ken.
Board.
All right, thank you.
No, I never get bored.
All right, the last order of business tonight is the resolution for Inatiganic Falls. Request for a yeah, thank you very much. Let's pull it up here. All right. Oh. Trying to find which tab. It's so many tabs. All right. So I'm just gonna introduce this. Jason Demarest on behalf of the property owner, TFI Land Co. LLC, proposed to create a new development district to modify some of the existing zoning regulations of the current B1 zone. The proposal would have facilitated the development of the subject site to include construction of a multi-purpose hotel with 75 plus or minus guest rooms, spa, fitness center, and an event space with a commercial kitchen. The board reviewed the proposal during our meeting on July 18th. We also reviewed the proposal again during our meeting on August 15th, both times with the applicant present. And we conducted a public hearing on September 5th of 2023. And we also continued the discussion and the public hearing and came to a consensus during the September 19th meeting that we would not recommend creation of the development district. And based upon our comments and based upon our thoughts, Neil's put together a resolution which addresses the several areas within the zoning that we are tasked with addressing. And it also reflected our reasons for coming to the conclusions that we came to. And he sent that out ahead of this meeting, and I trust that you've all had a chance to review it.
Peruse, and the true meaning of that word, which is in great detail. Yes.
Okay, peruse.
That's what it originally meant.
Oh.
It's gotten, people are.
Yeah, really.
Now it means skin, but.
Yeah, they do.
Look at incredible
Okay.
detail.
So what I would like to do is I would like to pass this resolution. However, I would also like to know if board members, have any strong feelings about any particular parts that would warrant revision and either revision that we can make on the spot or more significant revision. So I open the discussion on that.
So I actually think Neil, you did a superb job of capturing the various issues that we brought up. And I mean, all of them, you got them all.
Yeah.
And I also really like how you put them in the context of what policy area and objective they were associated with.
Mhm.
And it's very professional. It's well justified. And you gave the reasons that in many cases, they didn't really provide sufficient information for us to make a decision. So it wasn't just, oh, we don't like what you're doing. It's just, you haven't given us sufficient information.
And also the project as proposed is not an improvement on the protections for the natural area and the goals of the comprehensive plan. It doesn't meet the goals in some better way than what already exists.
And he said that many times.
Many times.
So I'm happy with it as it is.
Any other, I agree with you, Rebecca. Other
So am I.
comments? Okay.
So do I. One question I had, and I'd just like to hear your folks' perspective on it. Under 6B, we said, and we did say this, as a rezone is not required in order to facilitate the needs. The planning board is concerned with establishing a precedent
Mhm.
that could result in further rezone requests to law 89. And I'm wondering if we really want to say precedent, because it's, I mean, if you go to the BZA, there's never a precedent set, it depends on the situation. And that was kind of the way my thinking was. And so is it really a precedent we're doing here, or just opening the option for more people to start pushing for development districts along the scenic byway?
Right. How are they different? I mean, I feel like that
Well,
word is the same.
well, because precedent seems to have a legal ramification to it. That, I don't know if that's what we wanted to do. That's all. It just struck me when I was reading it based on, going to BZA meetings and things like that. That
I mean,
maybe that isn't a good way to go.
I think we would like to think that making exceptions at for zoning would not set a precedent because everything should be seen within its own right.
Mhm.
However, that's our angle. But I think a developer coming along would possibly have a different.
Would jump on it.
Would jump on it.
Absolutely.
And so I feel like
Yeah.
that's where the word precedent is. To me, it reflects my concern.
Well, what about spot zoning? Yeah, all right, the thing you always want to avoid is spot zoning. Too, and development district runs the risk of being spot zoning. Would you want? I'm trying to think of how. I'm just, there's just something about it that makes me uncomfortable unless, but if y'all think it's fine.
This is also a message to the town board, and we
Well,
have a
that's
town
true.
board liaison member here who is eager to speak.
I don't think it's spot zoning because he's the only entity in the current zoning. So it's not spot zoning because you're not taking that in the current zone. You're putting it in a development district with one entity.
But
I
then,
don't think it's spot zoning.
but doesn't then that make development districts a way of doing spot zoning?
Well, not in this case, because it isn't, you're eliminating the current zone and putting in a new one. It's spot zoning would be if you have a big zone and you put something in that doesn't talk, the development district. But I just don't think that's irrelevant. Spot zoning is relevant.
Yeah, I'll buy that, yeah,
Good.
right.
I'm comfortable with
Okay.
precedent. I hear what you're saying.
Mhm.
How do other board members feel?
You'd rather, you feel more comfortable being very specific about precedent, okay.
All the development districts that we have, this is the first one, I think, I don't know how many years they've had. All the ones that are now on the books are established businesses, and they made them into development districts.
Right, to cover the.
Prior to the
change.
zone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
because, they were in residential areas or whatever else.
yeah,
But
right,
none of those have ever changed. They've always remained exactly the same over all these years.
right.
I think that I don't even know the last one that was made was probably like in the 80s, 90s. Somewhere in that area.
And I think you'd have a hard time saying to somebody, well, you can't do it here on, Frontenac Point. You just can't. But you could do it next to Teganic.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't, I think it's a.
Yeah. So we should do president, okay, that's fine.
I would accept, unless there's further discussion, I would accept a motion to approve planning board resolution number 2023-022. A resolution recommending denial of the proposed amendment to the zoning map at 2030-2031 and 2051 Gorge Road, Town of Ulysses. I will not read the text parcels as is written.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
I.
I
Abstain, I'm not part of this.
Right, thank you. Cool. Okay. That brings us to our, yes, are you gonna say something?
Do we want to say anything back to the board about other learnings?
I would love to be
Yes.
invited by the town board to have a, participatory meeting about this when they're doing their review.
Yeah, and it
'cause
has
there's a
more to do-
lot that
yeah,
was discussed.
potentials for comp plan and all that kind
Yeah.
of thing too.
Yeah.
Is
We're
what,
gonna get, well,
and
we're
what's
gonna
the
get
best way?
this next week.
Mhm.
You say you wanna come to that meeting where we make a decision?
No,
We-
it's not to do with the decision, it's like,
We want to provide some of, because you're the only one sitting here, and I know that Caitlin's been here on Zoom for a lot of them, but. I think that because we've gone through so many meetings and so many hours already discussing this, that I think the town board may want to have the opportunity to ask us questions.
I think it's great. So see if Caitlin can get it on the agenda for next week. I haven't got back to
What's the date of your meeting?
next week.
Tuesday.
The 10th. So that follows, I could make it, but that does follow the holiday. So I don't know if that works for
What-
it.
Oh, yeah, Columbus
I'll
Day.
come.
Indigenous Peoples' Day.
Well, keep it there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I can
All
make
right,
it on Tuesday also.
You could?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
all right, so yeah, we'll
I'd
look
be
for an
happy,
invite.
I'm happy to have you come.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. I think it would
Rich,
be
do you
great.
have any updates as the liaison?
Do you have anybody at planning board member training?
Not for tonight.
Yeah, come.
Oh, I skipped it.
Well, we're working on it. I mean, I encourage everybody to do the training.
Yeah,
And we're working on, more relevant training.
I would love to see some planning board, land use, water use
Yeah, yeah.
specific training.
I am happy to give it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe at our next meeting, we could, I don't know, schedule that, or even over emails, just
What? Training?
some training around, streams,
Wetlands.
wetlands, which wetlands,
Yeah.
apply, all those things.
In, when I was in New Hampshire on the planning board there,
Yeah,
every year they would have a seminar.
yeah,
And all the planners all were able to go up,
Yeah.
and it usually was in Concord. And we would have 3 days of planners from all over
yeah,
New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Vermont, and they would give classes on every item.
yeah.
uh,
You're
whatever
putting
you
us
were
to shame,
interested
though.
in. What?
You're putting us to shame.
Oh, yeah, well, that's, I mean, we had to do it. There was,
Yeah.
you had to learn what you.
I think particularly having 2 new members is a very good time as well.
Yeah.
So let's communicate and we'll try and get something on the calendar before Christmas.
To do it, you're talking about doing it here, like,
Yeah, like
yeah, as a.
a get
meeting
together.
or
It wouldn't be a
meeting.
bad idea to find somebody who can give us
Yeah.
classes on.
I can do
Wetlands,
streams and
and-
wetlands,
Yeah.
guys,
Right.
my area.
Okay.
I mean, we could actually do, if we took each week, every time we meet and had 15 minutes, we could do like, all right, there's gonna be 3 modules for wetlands. I mean, just
Yeah.
15 minutes
Yeah,
instead of
right.
like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
just a
Have to
thought.
have it be approved as a training thing.
We know,
Yeah.
you guys have to. approve it.
Yeah.
We get
Yeah.
that.
The state has.
Oh, the state.
And also required trainings, if you have not completed them, I believe they're due by November 18th.
Are there any organizations in New York State that would come to a planning board and give a training? That's state approved.
I'm sure Rebecca would be approved. I'm sure Rebecca would give the training.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
but for
I mean,
any
I could
other, that's wetlands, but there's also a lot of
You
other.
guys, you guys should share.
Yeah, and I see Neil's typing away, so I'm sure he's got something up his sleeve.
Uh-oh.
Well, just remember, you have the town board training, but then there's that 4 hours.
Yeah, yeah,
right,
that we need to get
that's
done.
partially what I was thinking.
yeah.
Before the new year,
Yes.
it's coming right up. So if we could do all that,
So do I just schedule my own 4 hours with you?
no,
For the town board stuff?
I'll give you some links. There's some stuff you can do online. It'll print out a little certification. And then we could give that to the town board.
okay,
But Nate, our town lawyer, also mentioned that he would be amenable to doing like case law.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
would
was
be
wonderful.
awesome.
Which
Yeah.
could, I think. act
yeah,
as some training.
okay,
That'd be
okay, all right.
Yeah.
And just, to the public, once people present get sworn in, we will be a full board. However, we will still have room for one more alternate. So,
Michael has applied.
good,
I am
all right.
a
We are
reference.
accepting applications, excellent, all right. So that, unless you had anything else, Rich, that concludes our meeting, I would accept a
I'll
motion
make a
to
motion
adjourn.
to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, excellent.
Only 9 o'clock.
So, Carl, I know, sometimes, well, your time. Carl, can I get your phone
Niels,
number?
again, thank you.
And do you have
Very nice.
availability to,